If you're a heating and air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, what are the seven things that you can learn from big game advertising that you can incorporate into your sales presentation? Why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Bell, coming to you live from Sacramento, California. A perfect day to talk about sales and business. Fantastic day to talk about you for HVAC technician sales secret. All right, before we get into this video, I do want to make sure that I got to tell you this one thing that you got to do. You've got to record your sales presentation before you make any changes. That way you have a benchmark, right? That way you have ideas, concepts, and strategies locked in place that you could go back to. If what you did doesn't work out, you've got like a reverse button. You're like, let me go backwards, all right? Every year, the big game comes around and companies pay a lot of money for 30-second advertisement spots, 1-minute advertisement spots. It's like $8 million, okay? 8 to 10 million. So like the best marketing minds and attention minds in the world put time, energy, and effort into these presentations. There are many presentations. And there's elements, ideas, concepts, strategies that you can pull from. So we're going to go over 7 of them. So the first one is emotional connection. Right? People want to know. You and I can connect human to human. Now, if I were to shoot this video and look over to the side the entire time that I'm talking, you go, hey, that's kind of weird. There's no emotional connection. So there's things that you do in a live presentation that make sense, right? You exchange information, stories, ideas, concepts, okay? And so part of that comes with humor. Funny is money in sales. And so humor is at the top of the list, but you can go too far, right? There's a point where you're like, hey, that commercial was funny, but I don't remember who did it. A little bit of humor goes a long ways. Heartwarming stories. If there's really cool things that your company has done, your product has done, you should have that on a reel or save that for the right time to tell the story. On this is nostalgia. Everybody wants to remember back in the day. You get together with a bunch of friends from when you were in high school with, and you will talk about stories. Hey, remember the time that we went to the pond? You remember the time that we went? Yeah. Like everybody wants to go back in time to nostalgia. Like, you start going, hey, get off my lawn. You start, I've turned into my dad. I've turned into my grandpa. Number 2 on this list. Number 2, surprising creativity, unexpected twists and turns. In your presentation, if it is predictable, it's boring. If your buyer or client knows where you're going to go, they're going to cut you off and go, hey, sales dude, sales chick, get to the point, chop, chop, let's do this. You could put in people that they weren't expecting. So twists and turns could be people, okay? And then in this would be storytelling. You got to get really good at telling stories. You have to get good at telling stories. Most people can't tell a story to save their life. They stories have beginning, middle, end, and they go beginning, middle, and then they forget to get to the end. I can't deal with that. Number 3 on this list, simplicity and clarity, right? If you put me in a room with somebody who I have to figure out what they're trying to tell me and ask a ton of questions because it's not straightforward and to the point, right? Like right now, you can't see it, but I'm rubbing my knees going, please don't make me stop. Don't make me do that. Mommy, make the bad man stop, right? And then with that would be strong branding. You can talk a little bit about your company. All it takes is a logo or an image. Now, here's the thing. If you want to be better at sales and you want to be good at what you do, you should absolutely join my email publication. Go to this URL, type it into a browser, drop in your name, your email address, maybe your phone number. I'll give you the goods. Not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel, which means private coaching, private training, discounted coaching, discounted training. It's an email publication. Number 4, virality and social buzz. Make it so that people want to talk about, like, hey, man, I had a really good presentation from that sales dude or sales chick, right? I really like what they did. They made a lot of sense. Virality may be a buyer's guide. Virality may be a training video. Virality may be something that you leave behind. Virality may be a picture that you take with a client once the job is done. You got to think about how to make this work. And you can make it totally interactive with hashtags and content strategies. Number 5, cultural relevance. Like, is there themes to what's going on? If I was selling right now today, and I was in a home or a business or an office, I would have some sort of special for the big game, right? It's Valentine's Day. Guess what? I got a Valentine's Day special. Hey, it's it's March 1st. It's the Ides of March. Right? It's first day of spring. It's my birthday. I'd go down the list and find every reason to come up with some sort of, hey, I got a strategy for you, and it's because of this. It's Friday afternoon. You're my last person that I'm meeting with. With that being said, there's localized and global appeal, right? So cater to what you do best. What's the thing that you're really good at? Talk about that. If you're not so good at it, don't talk about it. But if you're really good at it, you should be like, hey, I'm really good at this. Number 6, strong video and audio appeal, right? You have to listen to at what level you talk. I have a hearing problem. Sometimes I talk really freaking loud. I walk into a room and everybody turns around like, what? And I'm like, either I'm the biggest dude in the room or I am talking way too loud, right? If you're shooting video, if you're creating content, there's 2 things that really matter. Audio is far more important than video. Video needs to be clear and stable, okay? So if you're like, hey, Scott, I'm going to create some content, what's super important? Video and audio are super important. But here's the thing. Audio, hands down, is way more important than a little bit of instability for video. People will put up with bad video, but they won't put up with bad audio. With this being said, you can put in memorable music or jingles. There's a reason why when movies put sound in, they figured out really quick that they can manipulate the feel of the movie by changing the way that the sound was or the music was in that movie. You could do that too when you play some of your testimonials. You can do that too when you talk about some of your products or services, or when you share a video about how your stuff works. And then number 7, call to action. Ask for the freaking business, dude, chick, person, right? Encourage some engagement. Like, at the end of the day, nothing happens till something gets sold. So how are you going to make that magic happen? What are you going to do to make that magic happen? Hey, all I need is a driver's license. It's really easy to get started. Press this button, click this button, call this person. Make sure that there's a really strong call to action at the end of your presentation. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to watch the big game, or you've watched the big game, or you've watched the big game commercials, start spotting the things that you like. I could probably pull that out and make that your swipe file. I could probably pull that out and put it into my presentation. Now, here's the thing. Before you do all of this, before you go to Crazy Town and make this big giant presentation after watching this video, please, please, please record. Please, please, please record your presentation for a second time. Okay? Just as a reminder, so you don't get too far off and you can't remember where you went. You got 1 of 3 things to do from here. Just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, you know what you got to do. Share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.